Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, so Anwar Ibrahim went to Mecca, went to Saudi Arabia for the Umrah during Ramadan, and he was not welcomed or met by Mohammed bin Salman. This is not good. In my opinion, Saudi Arabia and the UAE and the Khalij in general, Qatar too, are emerging as one of the strongest forces for empowering the Muslim world to decouple from the West and to pursue an independent path as sovereign nations, non-aligned nations. The investment from the Gulf, the financial support from the Gulf, is helping Muslim countries and countries across the global South to be able to decouple from the West. Malaysia needs to build and fortify and consolidate and enhance their relations with the Khalij, with the Gulf, with Saudi Arabia, with UAE, with Qatar, and to have arguably the most important leader in the Gulf states snub the Prime Minister. This does not bode well for Malaysia's connections and ties to the Gulf. And in my opinion, Mohammed bin Salman snubbed Anwar Ibrahim because he sees him as a dubious character, someone who is aligned with the West, someone who's aligned with the United States, and who he cannot trust to act as an independent leader of an independent nation. You remember back in 2021, I believe, Muhyiddin Yassin, former Prime Minister, traveled to Saudi Arabia, met with Mohammed bin Salman, and was even given an escorted tour inside the Kaaba. It's a very different response, a very different relationship. And as I said before, prior to the election, in my view, the manifesto of Parikatan Nasional and that of Muhyiddin Yassin was the most practical, the most insightful, and the most realistic plan for Malaysia going forward to help establish Malaysia's independence and economic sovereignty, and to help build Malaysia as an economic hub in this region. And he got a very different response when he visited Saudi Arabia than Anwar Ibrahim got. And of course, Muhyiddin Yassin is now facing charges under this new PH Anwar government, and there appears, in my view, to be an attempt to undermine and sabotage the Parikatan Nasional to ensure that they will not be able to ascend to power. Malaysia and Malaysians need to seriously think about the future, because this is a very pivotal moment in the history of the world order. And countries like Saudi Arabia are moving forward in a way that can help Muslim nations and nations across the global South to carve out a future for themselves in which they will have independence and economic and political sovereignty. The Muslim nations in Africa are trying. Now you look at, say, example, a country like Chad that just nationalized the assets of ExxonMobil. Now they're going to face consequences for that. There needs to be a network of support among Muslim nations, Muslim majority nations, and the nations of the global South. There needs to be coordinated, unified support for one another, because to go it alone is going to leave any single nation vulnerable. And when there is a country in the global South, when there's a Muslim country that is or is perceived to be aligned, unduly aligned with the West and with the United States, the other countries in that network, in that even potential network, will not trust you and will not support you and will not help you, which means that you have no exit route out of dependence and subjugation to the West. So I will just say, I hope that Anwar can repair, if they need to be repaired, and it appears they do, repair relations with Saudi Arabia and enhance the connections, enhance the ties, enhance the relations between Malaysia and Saudi Arabia, because that's going to be crucial for the future of Malaysia, in my opinion. Jazakumullahu khairan wa assalamu alaikum.